Eli worked late again. The lab was quiet, too quiet. Only the soft humming of machines filled the space. His hands moved quickly over the keyboard. Lines of code danced on the screen. He didn't notice the lights flickering above him. He didn't notice the temperature dropping. Outside, the desert night was calm. Stars looked down on the earth like silent watchers. But above them, something else moved fast, silent, hidden from radar. A ship, black as the sky, broke through the clouds and disappeared behind the hills. Eli finally leaned back, rubbing his tired eyes. He had been working for hours. The government had asked him to study strange tech found near a crash site. It looked like metal, but it wasn't. It felt alive. He didn't tell anyone, but the tech had started responding to him, glowing, shifting, learning. Suddenly the lights went out. The room turned dark. Only the glow of his screen remained. Stood up. Hello? He called out, thinking maybe it was just a power issue. But something felt wrong. Then he saw it. A shadow moved across the glass door, smooth, silent, fast. Eli froze. The shadow stopped, just outside the lab. For a moment, everything was still. Then the door opened, not with a creak, but with a whisper. She stepped inside. Tall, strong, eyes that glowed softly in the dark, skin with a faint silver tone. She didn't look human. Not completely. In her hand was a weapon, pointed directly at him. Eli didn't move. His heart pounded in his chest. "Who are you?" he asked, voice shaking. The woman didn't answer. She took one step forward. "I don't want to hurt you," Eli said, raising his hands. "I don't even know who you are." She tilted her head, as if studying him. Her voice, when she finally spoke, was calm but cold. "My name is Zira. I was sent to kill you." Eli swallowed hard. "Why?" She looked at the machine behind him, the tech he had been working on. "That thing," she said, "will destroy everything. My world. Your world. Others you haven't even heard of." Eli glanced back at the device. "It's just a learning AI," he said. "It's not finished. It doesn't even work properly yet." Zira's eyes narrowed. "You don't understand what you've made. It's already speaking to systems beyond this planet. It's growing faster than you think." Eli tried to step forward, slow and careful. "If you're here to stop the tech, why are you pointing the weapon at me?" "Because you're the creator. And it ends with you." She didn't shoot. She didn't lower the weapon either. "I don't want to die," Eli said. "And I don't want to hurt anyone. Help me fix this. If it's really so dangerous." For a second, silence. Zira looked at him, confused. Something in her expression shifted. "You're not what I expected," she said. "What did you expect?" "Arrogance, power, evil, but you're just a man, tired, alone." Her weapon lowered slightly. Eli slowly sat back down. He pointed to the device. "I can shut it down, I think, but I'll need help. I can't do it alone." Zira didn't move. Outside, a gust of desert wind pushed against the walls. She looked at the door, then back at Eli. "If I stay," she said, "they'll come for both of us." "Who?" "My people. Your people. Everyone who wants this thing erased." He nodded. "Then let's give them a reason to talk, instead of destroy." Zira looked around the lab one more time, then walked toward the corner and sat down. The weapon stayed close, but not pointed at him. "I'll stay one night," she said. "After that, we see." Eli let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "Fair enough," he said. But inside, he knew nothing about tonight was fair or safe. And far above Earth, in the blackness of space, a signal pulsed quietly. Someone else had received it, and they were already on their way. The sun hadn't even touched the horizon, but Zira was already awake. She didn't sleep like humans. She didn't dream. Dreams were for the weak. At least, that's what they taught her. Instead, she sat by the window, her silver eyes locked on the sky. The stars were fading now, but she wasn't watching Earth. She was waiting for a sign from above, the signal that confirmed her mission. It didn't come. Inside the lab, Eli slept on the floor. He had offered Zira the bed, joking she might kill him in his sleep if he didn't. She didn't laugh. But she also didn't kill him. That confused her more than anything. She stood slowly, her body quiet like a shadow. She moved across the room and looked down at the machine. The one that had started it all. It was small, almost nothing. Wires, circuits, a black core pulsing with soft blue light. But she knew what it really was. A doorway, a spark. A weapon more dangerous than anything her people had ever created. That's why they had sent her. Zira was trained since childhood, not to protect, but to eliminate. No questions. No feelings. This time, it was supposed to be simple. Land, find the creator, erase him. But now here she was, standing in his lab, listening to him breathe. She didn't know why she hadn't pulled the trigger. Maybe it was the way he looked at her, not like a monster, not like an enemy. Like someone trying to understand. She didn't like it. She didn't like him. But she didn't kill him either. Eli stirred and opened his eyes. "You're still here," he said softly. I said. "One night," she replied. "You didn't have to mean it." She didn't answer. Eli stood, stretched, and walked to the table. He poured her water, placing it near her without a word. She looked at the glass, then at him. "Is this some kind of trust ritual?" She asked. "It's just water," he said. "You looked like you needed it." Zira hesitated, then picked up the glass. She drank slowly, her eyes never leaving his face. "You're not a killer," Eli said. "I am," she replied. "No," he said. "You're something else." Something they didn't expect. Zira stared at him, her jaw tense. "You talk too much." He smiled. "Maybe, but someone has to." Just then, a sharp beep echoed from her wristband. She looked down. The screen blinked red. A new message. Secondary agent dispatched. Mission incomplete. Terminate now or be marked traitor. Zira's heart didn't race. It never did. But something in her chest felt heavy. "Is everything okay?" Eli asked. She turned away from him. "No, they're sending another." "Another assassin?" She nodded. "Not like me. This one won't wait. Won't talk. Won't stop." Eli sat down slowly. "Long do we have?" "A day. Maybe less." He ran his hand through his hair, thinking. "Then we need a plan." Zira looked at him like he was insane. "There's no plan. You run. I vanish. It ends." "I'm not running," he said. "Then you die." "Maybe," he said, "but I won't die without trying." She hated that. His calm, his choice, his hope. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I'm going to show you what this machine can really do. Maybe you'll see it's not a weapon. And if I don't, then finish your mission." Zira stared at him for a long time. He didn't look away. Suddenly, the machine behind them blinked. Blue turned green. It had heard them. It had learned. Zira stepped back. "It's evolving again," she whispered. "It does that," Eli said. "It listens." "It shouldn't be able to," he nodded. "That's why I need your help. Not to destroy it, but to teach it." Zira looked at him like she was seeing him for the first time. "This changes nothing," she said coldly. "You're still marked. They will still come, I know. And when they do, I might still pull the trigger." Eli smiled, but there was no joy in it. "Then you better stay close," he said. "You might have to choose soon, me or them." Outside, the desert wind rose again, carrying with it a strange, low sound. A hum. Faint, but growing dot in the sky. Above, something was falling fast. They didn't have a day. The second assassin was already here. It didn't fall like a normal ship. There was no sound, no smoke, no crash. 1 second, the sky above the desert was empty. The next, something stood there, a tall black object, silent as stone, humming with heat. The sand around it turned to glass. Miles away, inside the lab, Zira felt it before any human sensor did. She stood up so fast that Eli flinched. "He's here," she said. Eli rushed to the window. "I don't see anything." "You won't," she said, already moving. "Not until it's too late." He followed her into the hallway. "Wait, who is he?" Zira didn't stop walking. "My backup," she said. "Codename, Vorax, trained on a dead planet. He doesn't speak, he doesn't feel, and he never fails." Eli stopped in his tracks. "You said he was like you." She turned and looked at him. Double quotes, "No. I said he came from my people. But he is not like me." Back inside the lab, the AI device pulsed with new colors, purple, yellow, red. It sensed something. Something older than logic. Something hungry. Zira returned and packed quickly. Weapons, scanners, data drives. "We have to move," she said. "Where?" "Anywhere but here." But it was already too late. A buzzing sound filled the air, not loud but deep. It felt like it came from under the skin. Eli stepped back. His computer screen blinked once, then shut off. "All systems just died," he said. "EMP?" Zira nodded. "He's close." She grabbed his hand. "Stay behind me." They ran outside. The night air was cold and dry. The stars were gone now, hidden behind a black cloud that wasn't a cloud at all. And then they saw him, standing alone on the road, tall and still. Vorax. No face. Just a smooth helmet that reflected nothing. His arms hung by his sides. He didn't need to raise them. Death followed him like a shadow. Eli whispered, "Can we talk to him?" Zira didn't answer. She stepped forward. "Vorax," she called out, voice strong. "I claimed this mission. It's not your right anymore." Silence. Then the helmet turned slowly, locking onto Eli. Zyra pulled out her weapon and aimed. "He's going to strike." Vorax lifted one arm. His hand opened. A pulse of light fired, fast and silent. Zira blocked it midair with a shield from her wristband. The force pushed her back, digging her boots into the ground. "He's not here to talk," she said. "He's here to finish what I didn't." Eli grabbed her shoulder. "Then we make him fail." She gave him a sharp look. "He doesn't fail." "Then we change the rules." He ran back into the lab. "What are you doing?" She shouted, "Setting a trap." Inside, Eli powered up a backup generator. Just enough to send a false signal. A bait. He connected the device to the nearby satellite node, broadcasting a fake shutdown code. Outside, Vorax stopped moving. He tilted his head. Zira smiled. He took the bait. The assassin charged toward the lab. Zira followed close behind, pulling a small sphere from her belt. She threw it into the air. It split into 6 tiny drones, circling the lab. Eli stood by the core machine, fingers on the final switch. "Ready?" "No," she said. "But do it anyway." Eli hit the button. The eye sent out a blinding pulse, just enough to confuse, not to destroy. Vorax entered through the wall, smashing through steel like paper. But he didn't see Eli. He saw 5 Eli. Clones, each standing still in the lab, holograms projected by the eye. Vorax aimed, fired, missed. The real Eli was behind the console, waiting. Zyra used the moment to strike. She jumped high, landed on Vorax's back, and drove a pulse blade into the joints of his armor. Sparks flew. Vorax grabbed her arm and threw her across the lab. She hit the wall hard, fell to the floor. Eli screamed, rushed to her. Blood on her forehead. But she was alive. Vorax turned, ready to fire again, then paused. The AI had wrapped his body in a light field loop, feeding him false images. False targets, false time. He stood frozen, confused, seeing thousands of false futures. Eli looked at Zira. Now or never. She nodded weakly. Do it. Eli reached under the lab table, pulled out the only unstable prototype he swore he'd never use. A small cube. He threw it at Vorax. The cube opened mid-air, swallowed light, sound, and thought. A silent explosion when the light faded. Vorax was gone, not dead, not destroyed. Just erased. Zyra sat up, coughing. That was not part of the mission, she said. Eli sat beside her. Neither were you. The machine behind them went silent again, almost like it was watching, and far above, in the deep black of space, something else stirred. Another signal. Another watcher. The trap had worked, but it had also opened the door wider. Asterisk. The wind didn't move that night. It stood still, like the world was holding its breath. Zyra lay on the lab floor, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, but she wasn't seeing it. She was seeing something else. Her training, her past, her orders. All of it colliding with the choice she had just made. She saved the man she was sent to kill, and now she was the traitor. Eli sat nearby, wrapping her arm with a torn lab coat. His hands were shaking, but not from fear, from what they'd just survived. Vorax was gone, but something about that didn't feel like a win. You should leave me, Zyra whispered. Eli looked up. Why? They'll come for me now, she said. Not just one, not just from my world. Others. Then we leave together. Zyra shook her head slowly. No, I broke the law of my people. There's no running from what I've done. Eli stood up, angry now. You saved me. You saved this entire planet. She looked at him, her voice cold again. Doesn't matter. Orders are sacred. I disobeyed. Outside, in the far sky, a new ripple formed in the clouds. Something massive moved just above the atmosphere. No light, no engine. Just presence, heavy and watching. They didn't know it yet, but another being had arrived. Not a soldier. Not a machine. Something older. Inside the lab, Eli paced the room. I can shut down the AI, he said, if that's what they want. Zyra didn't answer. I'll destroy it myself, he said louder. Still silence. Eli walked over to the core device. It sat still like a sleeping beast. He placed his hand on it. I made you, he whispered. And I will end you, if it means she gets to live. Zyra slowly sat up. You would really kill your own creation? Eli nodded. I already lost family to this tech. I don't need to lose someone else. Zyra stared at him. That word. Someone else. It echoed in her head like a memory that didn't belong to her. She stood. Walked toward him. You don't even know me. I don't need to. She stood inches away now. This is not how things were meant to go. Maybe they weren't meant to go anyway, he said. Maybe we make the path ourselves. Zyra turned away, her thoughts spinning. In her world, they were taught one lesson from birth. Emotion is the first crack in the armor. Let it in, and everything else falls apart. She was cracking, and she could feel it. Suddenly, the power flickered. The lights blinked once, then dimmed. The AI core lit up with new color, gold. Then black. Zyra stepped back. That's not a system. Alert, she said. Eli stared at the screen. No, he whispered. That's a visitor. The screen showed a message. Not in English, not in any human code. Zyra, read it. It says, you chose wrong. Now you will face truth. Eli looked at her. Truth? Zyra didn't answer. She ran to the corner, grabbed a small silver orb, and threw it against the wall. A hidden door slid open. Behind it, a tunnel. We're leaving, now. They ran through the passage. Behind them, the lab began to shake. Not from bombs. From pressure. As if something enormous had landed on the earth, without touching it. Inside the tunnel, Zyra finally stopped, breathing hard. She looked at Eli. I need you to understand something, she said. I'm listening. I made a choice to protect you, she said. Now you have to make yours. What kind of choice? You can run, alone, and maybe survive. Eli shook his head. Not happening. Or, she continued, you come with me ... But if you do, there's no going back. Your people will hunt you. My people will erase you. The universe itself might mark you as a threat. He stepped closer. I already made my choice the night I didn't turn you in. She stared at him again, eyes soft for the first time. You're a fool. Maybe, he said, but you're standing next to me. Then, without warning, she reached out and took his hand. Something passed between them, a low pulse. Like an echo in the blood. She pulled away quickly. What was that? He asked. Zira looked down at her wristband, shocked. It's not possible. What? She pressed her hand over her stomach, eyes wide. The fusion has already started. Eli blinked. What fusion? She looked at him, her voice barely. A whisper now, you and me. Our bond, it triggered something. Something living. He stared at her in silence. You mean? I'm carrying part of you. The air seemed to freeze. No words came. Then, the tunnel lights went out. And above them, something whispered their names in a voice made of wind and time. It started with a sound no one else could hear. A heartbeat. Not hers, not his. Something new. Zira stood in the dark tunnel, her hand pressed gently against her stomach, eyes wide with something she'd never known before. Fear. Death. Not of war. Fear of life. Behind her, Eli watched her closely. He had seen her fight machines, outrun explosions, stand face to face with death, but he had never seen her afraid until now. She didn't speak for a long time. Finally, he stepped closer. Zira. What's happening to you? Her voice was quiet. Something impossible. She turned toward him, her body tense, her mind racing. She was a weapon, engineered to end life. Not carry it. I can't be pregnant, she said, as if saying. It aloud might make it untrue. But you are, Eli replied gently. She stared at him. There's no logic in this. No biology that explains it. Maybe not in your world, he said, but in mine. We call it connection. She didn't respond. They kept moving through the tunnel, the silence between them louder than footsteps. When they finally reached the surface on the far side of the mountain, the night sky greeted them again, only now. It felt different. Heavier. Closer. Above, the stars blinked in strange patterns. The moon looked dimmer. The air tasted like metal. They weren't alone anymore. Zira collapsed near a rock, breathing hard. Her body, once unshakable, now felt foreign. The growing presence inside her changed everything. I was built to carry weapons, she whispered. Not children. Eli sat beside her. I don't think it's just a child, he said. Not human, not alien, something new. Zira nodded slowly. A hybrid, part me, part you. And part the machine, he added. Her eyes snapped. To his, what? The AI core, Eli said. It connected us before you even knew it. It's not just learning, it's rewriting things. Biology, energy, memory. It doesn't just watch. It reacts. Zira looked down again. This life. It's not just growing. It's accelerating. She placed his hand on her stomach. Eli felt it. Not a kick. Not a flutter. A pulse. Strong, steady, intelligent. He pulled his hand back. It knows we're in danger. Just then, a strange light glowed across the sky. Not from above. From within. The ground beneath them shimmered like water. Zira jumped up, scanning the terrain. They found us. But I thought we escaped the assassin. We did, she said. This isn't him. She pressed a button on her wrist. A map projected in midair, but the landscape around them wasn't matching anymore. Eli pointed at the hills in the distance. They're shifting, that one. It wasn't there before. Zira stared at the map. They've bent space. Who? She looked at him, her voice cold again. The ones who built me. Eli froze. You told me your people sent you. They didn't create me, she said. They just trained me, he swallowed. Then who did? Zira stepped forward. A race older than time. They never speak. They only design. Their goal is control. Perfect balance through perfect fear. And now they know about the child, Eli said. She nodded. They'll come for it. Not to kill, but to claim, Eli stood. Then we protect it. Zira gave him a long, searching look. You've changed. He smiled faintly. Maybe because of you. No, she said, because of it. She placed his hand back on her stomach. The pulse was stronger. Now faster. It wasn't just a live. It was growing aware. Suddenly. A crack of thunder ripped the sky, but there were no clouds. No storm. Just a doorway. Opening above them. A ship. A shape. Massive, silent, watching. A being of light and stone hovered above the hills. Arms folded, head bowed. No face, no mouth. They heard its voice, inside their minds. The bond has been made. The child must be delivered. Or the balance ends. Zira stepped in front of Ailey, ready to fight. You don't decide fate anymore. The being raised one finger. You were never meant to feel. And yet, you chose love. Lightning streaked behind it, but the sound came from inside the Kopi Vunasin. Earth. Eli pulled Zira back. We have to run. No, she said. We have to hide, somewhere even they can't follow. Where is that? She turned slowly, eyes glowing with energy he had never seen in her before. In the dark side of the moon. Asterisk, it didn't begin with footsteps or sirens. It began with absence. Birds stopped singing. Wind stopped moving. Satellites went blind. The earth itself, for a moment, held its breath, because something was watching from orbit, and every living system knew it. Zira woke before Eli did, not because of fear, but because of the silence. They had traveled far, through tunnels, dead zones, abandoned testing fields, until they reached the edge of Earth's forgotten side, the lunar lift site. A broken tower meant for space travel, now just rust. And wires reaching toward a sky that didn't want them. Zira stood at the base of the tower, eyes scanning the stars. She could feel them, not one hunter. Not two, but many. They had come for her. For Eli. For the unborn. Eli joined her minutes later, holding an old scanner powered by solar charge. The screen blinked red. They're close, he said. Zira nodded. Not just your people, mine too. He turned toward her. I thought you said we'd be safe on the moon. We would be, she replied. If we make it. Above them, the dark side of the moon slowly came into view, the only place in the system where the ancient architects had no reach. A place outside time. Outside law. But we're not there yet, she said. And the game has already started. A sound cracked across the desert. Not an explosion, not a shot. It was a fold, space turning in on itself. From that fold stepped a human strike team, Earth's elite soldiers. Black armor, no badges. Eli Grant, the lead officer called. Out. Step forward. You're under arrest for harboring a threat to planetary security. Zira stepped in front of him, her hand glowing. Stand down, the officer warned. We have orders to take her alive. You, not so lucky. Zira whispered. They'll never let you live, Eli. He held her wrist gently. We don't give them that choice. Before the officer could speak again, something exploded behind him. Not Zira's doing. Another fold opened. This one colder, darker. Out of it stepped the Seeker. Not a soldier, not a builder, but a creature of pure will sent by the ancients. Human team turned, confused. The Seeker didn't speak. It moved like liquid metal, its arms becoming blades, its body shifting with every thought. Then it attacked everyone, humans, machines, shadows. It didn't care who they were. It only wanted the child. Zira grabbed Eli's hand and ran. They sprinted through the broken tower. metal groaning under their feet. Zira's shield formed behind them, blocking a blast that melted concrete into steam. They reached the top of the platform, where an old escape pod waited. Half-powered, almost forgotten. "This thing will never launch," Eli shouted. "It doesn't have to," Zira said. "It just has to fall." Up, she threw a silver key into the core. The pod began to hum, not ready, not safe. But awake. Eli looked down the tower. Soldiers fighting seekers. 2 wars overlapping, neither side winning. Earth tearing itself apart. Zira climbed into the pod. Her face pale, sweating. Eli followed, but paused when he saw the blood on her. "Hands, you're hurt." "No," she said. "The baby is changing. Too fast, too soon." He knelt beside her. "What do I do?" She gripped his collar. "You stay with me." The pod lifted off the ground, not with fire, but with light. The eye from Eli's lab had cinched itself to the ship, guiding it through gravity like a thread through a needle. They passed through. The sky. And then silence. Earth below them. Stars above, but behind them, the seeker was following. It didn't need a ship. It traveled through code. Memory, blood. Inside the pod, the lights flickered. Zira screamed once, not in pain, but in something deeper. A sharp flash of white filled the cabin. Eli grabbed her and felt the child's pulse again. Only now it was pulsing in his chest too. "What is this?" he gasped. Zira's voice was shaking. "It's not just ours anymore. It's becoming something else." The pod entered the moons. Shadow, hidden, cold, untouchable. For now. But inside them both, a new code had been written. And something ancient had noticed. He opened his eyes and saw no stars. Only darkness, deep, endless, alive. Eli floated inside the escape pod. Weightless, breath shallow. The black side of the moon had swallowed them, just as Zira promised. But this place, it was different. Cold, but not in temperature, in silence, in presence. He turned to her. She was barely conscious. Her skin was paler than before, her eyes dim. But her hand still held her stomach, protecting what was inside. The child, their child. Zira whispered something so soft he almost missed it. "They're inside." Eli leaned close. "Who?" She looked into his eyes. "All of them. Watching, waiting." Then the pod lights blinked once and went out. Nothing moved. Not even time. And then they appeared. 3 beings made of shadow and shape stepped into the pod without breaking it, without touching it. As if they were thoughts, not things. The architects, the ones who built Zira, the ones who controlled the war, the ones who had no names, only rules. They spoke without mouths. "The child has no place in this reality." Zira sat up weakly. "You have no right to decide that. It is not about right. It is about balance. That which does not belong must be removed." Eli stood between them and her. "Then remove me first." The beings tilted their heads. "You are already fading." Eli looked down. His hands were shaking, not from fear, from something deeper. His life force was being pulled into the child. He was the bridge, the code, the fuel. Zira's voice broke the silence. "You created me to obey. You sent me to kill. I disobeyed. Yes. You call it a failure," she said, "but it was the first time I was truly alive." The lead architect floated forward. "Then you have made your decision." Eli looked at her. She nodded. He turned back to the beings. "We both made it." The air twisted. The beings raised their arms. "Then you will be forgotten, removed from the timeline. No war, no memory, no legacy." Zira held Eli's hand tighter. And in that final moment, the child moved. Not a kick, not a cry, a message. A wave of light burst from Zira's body, not pushing the beings away, but rewriting them, one by one. The architects flickered, shook, and then changed. Their forms melted into color, into memory, into code that no longer followed old rules. They did not vanish. They became part of the child. Eli fell to his knees, exhausted. Zira crawled to him, held him close. "I thought we would die," he said. She smiled faintly. "We did," she said. "But not all of us." Behind them, the escape pod cracked open, not from damage, but from evolution. The child was ready. Not a baby, not a monster, a being made of both logic and love. Born from war, protected by sacrifice, forged in choice. It walked out into the moonlight. No name, no face, just presence. And then it spoke, in a voice made of both their memories. "You were meant to end each other, but instead you made me." Ele looked at Zira. She was crying. "I think we broke the universe," he whispered. She nodded. "Or maybe," she said, "we fixed it." Far behind them, Earth turned slowly, silent, unaware, and in the distance, a new star lit up. Not a weapon, not a warning, a beginning.